Yo! Love the sound of all the cicadas. It's been tropical the last few weeks. So I'm back again. I did shoot a whole video and then my phone messed up, ran out of storage space. So I shot like a 25-minute video after that last one, the first one. And then I lost it, so I'm reshooting this. This is going to be much more concise. It's probably for the best. The other one had a lot of rambling in it. So this is the windowsill that I bricked up. You can see where the new bricks are. It's far from seamless, but that doesn't bother me in the slightest. I mean, this wall has a rustic quality to it anyway, so it's not out of place. But managed to brick it up with these bricks that I salvaged from the burned down house around the corner. And then with Alex's help, lowered this. It's a bloody heavy piece of limestone. It's been beautifully kind of milled on two finished faces. The other side's kind of crude, but flat enough. And so with Alex's help, managed to get that lowered onto a nice thick bed of mortar, and it is rock solid in place. That is not going anywhere. It's just right. It's just, yeah, love it. So you can kind of see kind of crudeness. So I left lots of space at each end to kind of get this big piece of stone in, because I didn't want to be messing around trying to be fiddly. Trying to be precise with such a big thing is, you want to give yourself some tolerance. So left some space on either end. You can see where that space was, and I just used little chunks of brick to kind of fill it in, so it's just not all mortar, because mortar isn't super structural by itself. You need it works in tandem with the bricks. So yeah, I'm stoked with how this turned out. So to give you some backstory, this window here is in kind of the back, front, whatever, that end of the kitchen, and I want to have a kitchen counter underneath this window. In the original window, you can see where the sill height was, so I've lifted it up. I've ordered a slightly smaller window, which is going to go in about a week, and in order to do that, I had to, well, I didn't have to. This brick stuff, I didn't have to do it. That sill was a good 3 courses lower. So the bottom of the sill was around here. So I had to take the sill off, and then I ended up unpicking 2 levels of brick, because in all of my pounding to get that windowsill out, I loosened all of the bricks that were underneath it as well. It took a lot. I had to pound on the thing to get it to wiggle a little bit, and then that kind of sends shocks through the structure on either side, so it ends up kind of loosening up a lot. So I ended up losing 2 courses of bricks, which I had to build back up, plus the 3 that I wanted to lift it by, with the burned down house bricks, and then managed to lift it up. Originally I could have left the stone sill lower and just had a big, I could have had a panel of something, or I don't know, it just wouldn't have looked right. It would have been weird. You'd have a window with glass and then some kind of fill-in cladding, and I'd rather have some crudely laid bricks and the windowsill in the right spot in relation to the window. So I decided to go that way, and I wanted to kind of try my hand at bricklaying, because this is the first time I've ever done it, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm glad I didn't have to do a really big section of it, because we're a little bit wobbly. The level kind of goes up and down a little bit, and they kind of come in and out a little bit as well. You can sort of, I don't know, it's not super planar, but for such a small area, it's totally fine. It's plumb enough to hold up that brick sill, that's for sure. And there's the wall on either side to do that. So yeah, stoked. So I had to kind of put in a bit of framing. So I've got building wrap, so it's all done properly. going to insulate the shit out of this like section here, as well as these walls on either side. Pack it full of insulation because this is effectively an external wall. I do have the benefit of like this area being enclosed, so that can be like a bit of a mediator between the harsh outdoors and inside. But yeah, that window will be external grade, so it's going to be good. It's going to be a real window in about a week. It's Sunday now, it's Monday tomorrow, and 7 days from tomorrow, being next Monday the 17th, I've got a crew coming in here to put in 11 windows. Maybe it's only 8. No, it's 11 windows. Because, yeah, it went from 15 windows, which was going to cost me 11 grand, down to 11 windows, which is going to cost me 8 grand. So I'm stoked. And there's some big windows too, like those two there are particularly big. This one here, nice and big. And you can see the light in here is nice now. Wait until it's just like clear glass, not like milky plastic. That window at the end, that whole thing is just going to be one big picture window the whole way around. So this transom windows, verticals are called mullions, mullions, and horizontals are called transoms, transoms. Took me a while to figure that one out or learn it, so there you go, in case you didn't know. But yeah, that's just going to be one big picture window. It's not going to be openable, but I've got plenty of openy windowness with this one and this one. Yeah, that framing I was showing you downstairs, I'm going to get Tim in to finish this off, and some other bits and pieces. I'm going to get him to do the electrical as well. So that'll be great. Yeah, once I've got this room in here electricaled, then I can start doing finishing stuff to it, and then that will be my little Stevie Nook when I move in here. That'll be my first bedroom, will be that corner room. I've touched on that before, but you know, I like the sound of my own voice, so you'll be hearing me repeat things far into the future, so I get used to it. Bathroom. Decided to revert to the old plan, which is originally this house had a bathtub at the end. I thought I'd try having a toilet at the end with a vanity opposite, and then a shower behind the door here. And that's what that 4x4 is there for, to kind of give me an idea of how much room I've got for a shower. But it's not a lot of room. I'm not happy with this width for a shower. It feels a little tight. It's under 30 inches, and a shower, you want a minimum of 30 inches for a shower. So instead, I'm going to go back. I'm going to put the shower at this end of the room near the window. That was the reason I wanted to have it away from the windows, because it's just a bit of a waterproofing hassle around the edge of a window. It's just more places for water to get into the structure of the building, which is the name of the game, is keeping water away from the structure. Yeah, buildings aren't... There's like levels of like defense between water and the structure. And there's like several of them. You've got like the siding, which in this case is brick. And then you've got the building wrap, which used to be like tar paper. And I'm replacing the bits that I'm disturbing or creating with contemporary building wrap, which is like Tyvek, things like that. And then you've got the sheathing, which is, you know, still can get a little bit wet. I mean, water is going to get through the bricks in some places. It's also going to get through the building wrap in some places, but it'll kind of die in your sheathing. And as long as not too much gets through, the sheathing can take a little bit, and it kind of distributes the water, and then it'll just like kind of steam off and dry. As long as it's not chronic, you shouldn't have mold problems. But yeah, so I wanted to keep water away from the window if I could. But I've decided I'd rather have a generous shower and have to pay a bit more attention to waterproofing around that window than having a really squeezy shower and kind of not having to worry about the window so much. So I'm happy with that decision. My plumber has been taking a while, which has turned out to be a good thing. If he had kind of been, if he'd been Johnny on the spot and got his shit together and got all of that plumbed up already, and I decided to change my mind, it would be a real pain in the ass, and I probably wouldn't. I'd just like, suck it up. So, when things delay and you end up feeling a little impatient, not that I was particularly, I was pretty chill. Like, there's no real critical path here. None that I'm relying on other people for anyway. Like, I'm being completely realistic. Anything that I need done immediately, I have to either do it myself or just let it go, Like, timing's not that desperate. I don't want to stress about a single thing in this place. So, it's happening in its own time. And so I'm glad that kind of Pez, lovely fella that he is, kind of took his time because it gave me time to reconsider. And he was just like, oh man, because he'd already bought parts. But, they're pretty universal parts. And I told him I would pay for any like parts overhang that there might be. So, that's cool. I put a little hole in this wall here just to check the state of the insulation. You can see it's in there. So I was going to skin this wall and vapor barrier and then re-drywall, but the plaster is in such good shape. It might not look it, like there's these kind of cracks and stuff, but it's rock solid, and I'll just be able to patch that and it'll paint up beautifully. Nice eggshell paint, gorgeous. So yeah, I'm going to do some little test holes around the external walls just to test the just to get an idea of the shape of the insulation. With these walls here, it's this side of the building that really cops the weather. This is where the pressure and all of the water, and this wall's going to be the coldest for sure. It's where the wind comes from. The other wall is, I'm not so worried about like stripping it and vapor barriering the other wall. I don't think it's as critical, and the plaster on the other side of the building is in much better shape than this was. So it kind of makes, I don't know, in some of the places, like in this room, I'm not sure, because I've got these big missing bits. So I'll test. This is classic, this is what the scrappers do. Inside each, because it took me a while to figure it out, someone told me, in each of these pockets on the side of the window, back in the day, the windows, the big like double hung windows, would have had counterweights inside the walls, and so these big, like, they're either pig iron or a lead. They're worth a fair few bucks just in metal at scrapyards. So people would come in and just like bust the counterweights out of the windows because it's a nice big hunk of metal. They know where it is. It's easy to get to. So they busted that out and it's throw out. So it can be patched. I've just got to find the right thickness drywall and like make patches. But apart from that, these external walls are in like really nice shape. So I don't think I'm going to mess with them too much if I don't have to. But this wall here, I don't know, I want it done nicely. And I've done drywall stuff myself before. I'm not going to drywall this myself. This is too important. I'm going to pay someone to drywall all of this. I'll put up the vapor barrier and everything myself. That's not super critical. But I don't know, there's just something about the flatness of a wall. You're just going to notice it forever. And if you've done it yourself and like made a meal of it, it'll just bug me. So I don't want to kind of have those sorts of regrets. I'm going to trim everything out myself. So this trim here, when I recreate it throughout the rest of this area, I'm going to do that. I'm really confident that I can do a nice job of that. I mean, once I've got my workshop set up downstairs, I can just like take my time and just do like a bit at a time Trim's one of those things. It's not critical to the functioning of the house, and I can take my time, and I'm going to quite enjoy that. But yeah, things like drywalling really large expanses of wall, I'll leave that to the professionals. And it's not that much. I mean, I'll get them to do all of this all the way around here. The thing about drywalling, guys, is they're so quick, and they just know how to do it really well, really quickly. They're great at handling the material. I mean, drywall, especially if they're using like the big 10-foot or 12-foot sheets, just a real pain in the ass. So get a team of those guys in here, and they'd be able to do this in a day. They get it sheeted up in a day and get the first coat of mud down, and then the next day finish it off. So that's what I'm going to do. I mean, still going to do as much as I can myself. I'm going to do all the painting myself, all the trimming, all the stuff you can see. I even have aspirations to make my own cabinets. So I want to do all my own cabinet work, casework, trim, painting. I'm even going to do the ceilings myself, which are going to be, we're going to have like panel coffered ceilings through these 3 spaces. And I need to look at my drawing, but I want also, so we're going to have a panel ceiling in here, which is going to have like border with, I think it's just one big, no, it's 2 panels in the center, or maybe it's 3. I can't remember. I'll show you the plan. But yeah, I want to kind of continue that ceiling panel into this room, because eventually this room is going to be kind of an annex off the living room, and it's going to be like a kind of like a den, I guess. I'm going to have maybe a little bar, and it's going to open onto the porch. So I think this area right here is just prime for like a bar that I can, yeah, just this, it'll be like a little library, bar, cigar room, cigarettes, blech. But cigars, I might get into cigars in my old age. I mean, my lung health is pretty good at the moment, so far. I'm glad I quit smoking and took up dorky vaping for a while, because it kind of, I don't know, I can't believe I vaped for so long, but it was a great like way to distance myself from cigarettes. And then when I did finally like kind of give up the vaping, which was really uncomfortable, at least I had also distanced myself from the like ritual and habit of lighting a ciggy, because I found that like super addictive, just that having something to do thing, you know. So here I am, smoke free, good lungs, and might pick up cigars once, as like a little celebration once this place is complete. I'll at least have one with a nice glass of whiskey, and whoever happens to be around, even just by myself, I don't care. Yeah, I miss all my mates. I've got a slowly growing kind of circle of friends here in Detroit. Got like a small handful of people that I can catch up with. But you know, nothing beats those old school homies, and I don't have any old school homies here. They're all like on the other side of the world, just like inside this screen and speaker. Like, it's, I've never felt further from home. In many ways, I'm trapped here. I'm trapped in this fucking batshit crazy country. Man, this place is off the hook. Like, if you want to talk about diversity of feelings and circumstances and ways of living, and this place has got it all. It's absolutely off the chain in terms of like the amplitude of like deep like structural poverty and decay, all the way up to like insane wealth and power, and like fucking, you know, we're gonna have our first trillionaire soon. Like, we've got these just demon, vampire, monster, capitalist people who have just like, you know, the system has failed. It's failed all of us. It's failed them. It's failed us. The system is fucking broken. And so we've got these like super gnarly effects manifesting. And yeah, it's a really interesting time to be here. I'm trapped, but I'm so far not fussed. I mean, I'm really lucky. I still have a job. Things are ticking away, and yeah, seeing all the parties back in Perth is like, it hurts a little bit. I'm very happy for you all, but at the same time, I'm just like, oh god, I wish this place could have its shit together. But there was never a chance. There was never a chance that the US was going to get its shit together and beat COVID the way WA did. I mean, there's just so many factors going against it. You'd need every single state to kind of toe the line, and you've got these like super freedom cult weirdos who would just never going to do it. Never going to do it. You've seen it, the weird protests against masks and stuff. Australia has those people too, but I think Australia has like hard borders and a lot of things in its favour, especially in WA. Anyway, trapped here, but got plenty to do, and you know, it's a slow moving ship. I am eyeing the exits, but not for a year or two. I think I can stick with it unless things change drastically, but if current trajectory holds, a couple of years, which sort of gels with my general plan of sticking around long enough to get my citizenship and my US passport, and then I can bail for as long as I want. At the moment, with my green card, I can leave, but I can't leave for longer than a year, and at the moment, I'd want to leave for at least 3 months just to make the quarantine worthwhile. So, yeah, I'm here for the next little while, but plenty to keep me busy, plenty to do, and in the meantime, I'll just like imagine what it's like to, you know, be back in Perth and party with my mates. It's fine. It's fine. I've been to a couple of gigs here. Like, people are slowly adapting and figuring out what they can do and what's safe. And there's like outdoor gigs, outdoor socially distanced, generally masked up gigs. But people kind of de-mask and relax a little bit. But cool people at this point have got a pretty good sense of like what's safe and what isn't. It's actually introduced a cool new kind of social dynamic. Like if you're talking to someone, you both got your masks on, having a chat. Mask might come down to have a sip of your drink and then you put the mask back on. But as you get more comfortable with each other and kind of suss out that I'm pretty sure this person's been fairly careful, at least as careful as I've been, they don't seem like a total moron. The masks kind of come down and it's this strange thing where you're seeing the bottom half of someone's face for the first time, but you've been speaking for like a while. It's like, oh wow, that's what you really look like. Yeah, it's funny. And also it's just like a clear indicator of trust, like when the masks come down. Like, literally and figuratively. Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, we're figuring it out, but you know, it's going to be a thing for a while, I reckon. Funny old world. There's been some really encouraging electoral news recently, like a lot of progressive people gaining power, which is beautiful. I think that's just going to be the trend. I mean, people are just seeing the total like failure of conservatism. You know, and as these oldies who just can't let go of that way of thinking kind of drop off the perch, we're going to see some freshening up of the blood, and it's awesome. And I think it's becoming painfully clear as well just how much of a failure corporate capitalism is. Corporation's not a person, you know. Corporation's just a big, selfish network of systems, like a virus. Just its only goal is to replicate itself and to grow. That is all. People try and justify it by saying, oh, but it's to add value. No, it's not. It's just to replicate itself and grow. That's all a corporation is. A company, a business, no, that's meant to serve people. But a corporation, once you get to that size and your only job is to make money for your shareholders, for your investors, and to get more investors and make more money, you're in kind of basically a snake eating its tail, and the only way that the snake doesn't disappear is it's got to keep getting bigger, so it makes more tail to eat. And we are in the end stages of this process. Like, it's just, yeah, there's not going to be much snake left soon. I mean, yeah, and then I don't know, there'll be something's going to happen, but yeah, we'll see what that is exactly. I better go. Starting to rant. But yeah, mad progress on the house. Feels great. And next few weeks are going to be hardcore with work, but I'm also going to be making a ton of cash, and I'll be able to pay people to do stuff around here. So we're going to see some like big moves in the next month or two. So stay tuned. I love you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.